Hello everyone, it's Catherine here from Inky Finger Cat and welcome to the 1st of July and I'm doing Christmas in July. No idea whether I'm going to keep up and do all 31 days as videos or some as blog posts, but I'm really going to try my hardest to get 31 projects done. And I've pre-recorded a few of them, so I know at least I'll make a few of these as videos. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Now, first of the month, I always choose pattern paper as well. And in this case, I chose 3 pieces of very old Stampin' Up paper that I'd cut as 6x12 that I've been in the stash for a while. And I just basically chopped them up into sections and I'm going to make 3 cards. Now, I will speed this up in a little while. I mean, it's slightly faster than normal, but not much. But I'll speed it up in a minute. So yeah, my intention is to just make 3 cards. Probably similar-ish in style. I mean, they all end up slightly different, but using the same products with different papers. And I just switch up the way I make them as I go through. But you'll see some of that as that happens. So yeah, why am I doing Christmas in July? Well, I make Christmas cards all year round. I love making Christmas cards. And I've been doing Festive Friday, so I try to make a Christmas project every single Friday over on my blog. So this month I decided, let's skip Festive Friday, let's just do all Christmas products. Now, over my blog, I might have some non-Christmas projects as well, but yeah, my intent is to do 31 days of Christmas projects. As I say, some might be on videos. So I've chosen this paper. I've cut things up into panels, sort of got some sense of an idea, and then I really wanted to use this Merriest Moments. I love this die cut frame that you can emboss, and I'm just umming and ahhing if that's going to work, and I think it is. I've chosen to do square cards for a change. I quite often don't make square cards, certainly not on the videos I've been doing. I've not been doing square cards that often, I don't think. Oh, I've done a few, but yeah, I decided for some reason that I really wanted to make square cards. So I'm going to die cut this, and I'm going to die cut it 3 times, but my white cardstock is not particularly thick, so I'm going to double up the layer of cardstock just to strengthen the die cut piece. So I just basically fold it over, stick it together, and then as it goes through the die cutting machine, the pressure will put it together. But I just wanted, the reason I've not sped it up is for this moment, okay? So even though I tape it down, I clearly don't tape it to the actual paper, because when I run it through the die cut machine and I take it out, dun, 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 dun. Okay, I probably should have sped this up a little bit more because the intense pressure. Here we go. Yeah, the die had moved. So the intention was to cut 2 pieces from that piece of paper. Doesn't happen. And instead it's awkwardly gone sort of sideways on, halfway down. Very weird. Don't know why it does that. Very frustrating, but never mind. Okay, so I carry on die cutting these out. Obviously I have to make another piece of paper. I've sped this up now properly. But yeah, I'm going to stick this together, die cut it twice, and then spend a little bit of time having to weed out all those little bits. I really do need a new die cutting machine, but I think I've been saying that for about 2 years now. And it hasn't actually totally broken, and they're expensive, and can I justify it? Probably not. But yeah, it doesn't apply even pressure throughout anymore, and I quite have to run it through several times with an extra shim and stuff to make some dies cut well. So I'm not going to make you watch all of this of me weeding them out. There you go, fast forward. So this first one, I'm just having to play, having to work out how I want to do it, and then I think, do you know what, before I go any further, I really want to emboss those die cut elements. It's a beautiful folder and it really does give some lovely impression on the die cut pieces. There we go. I've zoomed in a little bit so you might be able to see some of that detail. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Of course, I then forget that I've zoomed in and you won't necessarily be able to see everything that I end up doing. But I also realised I need to stamp onto that centrepiece. Now the die set does come with another panel that means you can die cut another panel and put it on top. But I decided to stamp directly onto this die cut piece. Now you can see my stamping platform's got some like sticky paper in there. It's been there for ages, and when it eventually loses its stick, I'll take it out again. But it's perfect for this sort of when you've got an element that's not going to sit directly into a corner because it's already been die cut or whatever. It just holds it in place beautifully, so you don't need the magnets. So I kept them all the same, stamped the sentiment from that stamp set, Merriest Moments, in the Mossy Meadow, which is one of the dark green colours that's in the papers. That's the joy of Stampin' Up! In terms of coordinated coloured cardstocks, inks and papers. It's something that I still love about them. And then I just, even though I had assembled it in a particular way, decided to assemble it completely differently at this point. But you know what? It doesn't really matter. Now, those are really busy papers, aren't they? And obviously my main focal element is mainly white, so it's fine. But when I was looking at this, I was thinking, maybe I need to finish them off in a slightly different way. On this one, I chose not to use foam underneath the element, but I still wanted to raise it up. So I just used that scrap of the white cardstock where it had been left over from the wonky die cutting and stack that up underneath it with some glue. Now I'm just using some of those little finishing touches, those bits and scraps left over on the page, on the table, to create some insert focal points. Now at this point I'm not quite sure what to do in terms of embellishment, because I was umming and ahhing about stamping some of the elements from that stamp set, you know, maybe a flower or something, and adding those, but I decided that there was so much pattern on there I didn't really want to. Now I did think I'd got some red and green sequins and stuff, but it turns out I didn't. But I found this little baggie of sequins and fun elements, and I thought, oh, those green swirls look fun. They might actually be gold swirls, but they look fun, so I decided to use those as embellishments. Now come to my next one, and I've decided now I want to edge all the pieces, and maybe that'll just frame them a little bit more. Rather than them all sort of being a big mash of colour, maybe it'll just give it a bit of an edge. So for all of the pieces, I did go around them with the Mossy Meadow ink. That square piece I actually cut into 2 panels to go on either side, which actually ended up going a little bit wider than I'd originally anticipated, so it went across the whole page, but it just looks like it's going the entire way, but actually there's a gap between. So yeah, this one I decided to sort of centralise everything down that centre panel, and this time I am using foam to just lift up that die cut element. And this time I'm choosing green sequins that are in that mix. I've not put it away for a reason. Yeah, just zoomed in a little bit so you could see what was going on. Probably forgot I'd been zoomed in, and so I don't know how much of this is visible. But again, I'm just adding those little elements of the papers. Again, I'm going around them with the ink, and then just adding them in the inside so that it gives another little finishing touch. So yeah, apologies, I completely forgot that I had zoomed in. There we go, remembered at this point, and there goes my second card. So you can see by this point I'm in a bit of a production line that in total, including the little bit of time that I didn't film of me weeding out those die cuts, I think it took 37 minutes to make 3 cards. And that includes a little bit of sitting there and going, oh, what shall I do next? Oh, what shall I do next? Kind of element. So I think that's not bad at all. 3 Christmas cards, 37 minutes. Yeah, that'll do for me. I mean, I don't like to make things exactly the same. I like to change things up. So third one is stepped up again. So again, I've added in some extra boundaries by adding in a layer of white cardstock underneath each panel. In some cases, I did have to slightly trim down the panels just so that they would still fit on that card. But yeah, that's what I've done here, is I've added in an extra layer of white, and that just gives even more boundary to each of those pattern papers. I think all 3 of them work really well, but I did really like doing it with the extra layers. You do need to be mindful if you're doing this sort of thing that obviously extra layers equal weight, you know, but to be honest, I end up pretty much putting a large letter stamp on most of my post at Christmas because I've ended up adding embellishments and layers and all the rest of it. And you know what? It's part of my expense of Christmas. I don't mind it. I know some people do the whole charity giving instead of card giving. Totally get that too. But for me, part of the pleasure is in, you know, making and then sending the cards when I remember. Not very good at posting things, but you know what I mean. So, again, finished off with some gems, and that's all 3 cards done. So, hope you enjoyed that. I'm hoping you're going to join me at least for a few projects along the way in July. Maybe you're not going to be as insane as trying 31 like I did. And obviously, please don't expect me to do 3 cards at every setting. That is just not going to happen. But I always like to do quite a few when I'm using my pattern paper up, because I'm trying in a bid not to hoard it and to just get it used. So, I hope you enjoyed. Please do give me a thumbs up. Comment below if you are going to join in with Christmas in July in one way or another. And please subscribe if you want to see more. Clearly, there are definitely some Christmas card videos coming up. But also, there'll be other things coming up after that. And until next time, goodbye.